Welcome to the CrossFit Max podcast.
Boom! What is going on, everyone? We have a wonderful guest on the show. We're excited for you guys to hear Sacha's story. And hey, this is episode 95. Yes, 95. We're closing in on 100. And this is the very first episode that I am not a part of. So even I am super stoked to hear this. We hope that you enjoy it. And if you haven't yet, please give us a rating and a review. It really helps get our episode out to some new people across the world. So with that being said, let's hear the conversation between Susie and Sacha. Let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, we're in it. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. This is a bit weird, guys, because this is the first episode ever that Coach Brandon isn't here. So our guest today is Sacha. Say hi, Sacha.
Hello.
So today's episode is a girly chat. Thank you so much for coming on the episode today. And I'm sorry, Brandon, but you're fired. So when you hear this episode, I just hope that you enjoyed the run we had together, but we don't need you anymore.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
Taking over co-host.
Yeah, amazing. So, okay. We're going to start off with a banter topic, which is how we start all of our episodes, which is just a little chat. So I want Sacha, you know what? This will be fun. I'll say my side of the story and you say your side of the story, but I'll let you start first, okay? So I'm going to ask Sacha to explain to the listeners. Sacha's a member here at CrossFit Max. I'm going to ask her to explain to the listeners how her and I became friends. And I would love, actually, I'm really excited to hear her perspective on this because I think when you hear my version, it's probably going to be slightly different. Okay, but tell the listeners how we became friends.
I think throughout the years, though, my version has morphed into your version a little bit because yours is just funnier. It's more entertaining.
I feel like you don't know how crazy I am, and we'll let the podcast know. But anyways, okay, Sacha, how did we meet?
So we were both living in a condo building in Point Claire, and it was like prime COVID, I think, or like beginning.
Yeah, we moved in 2020.
2020.
Like summer 2020.
I remember it being like, it was getting colder. So I think it was like you guys had been there already for a couple months. Or maybe not, honestly. Either way.
I feel like it was like cold months when we became friends.
But
we moved in August.
All I know is that I remember being like in a really antisocial bubble. Like I was like, I don't know any of our neighbors. I just get out. I walk the dog. I go back in. And I'm on a dog walk with our dog Bean. And just walking around.
We love Bean.
And this crazy...
Enter Susie.
Little blonde girl, Susie, with her big dog, Maxie.
Aw, R.I.P. Max.
R.I.P. Max, we love you. Walking, and I kind of remember you being like, oh my God, like, do you live here? Do you live in this building?
That's exactly how I sound, too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do you live here? Are we best friends?
She's like, oh my God, your dog Bean, is this your dog? I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh my God, how old is he? And like freaking out about the dog, which we love. But then it was like, suddenly we're walking together. Suddenly we're walking back to Quebec. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have a friend. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, this is the most social interaction.
It's Sunday morning at 8 a.m.
This is the most social interaction I've had in like a week. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then I think we just kind of timed our walks. Like it was kind of, we were on a similar pace for a little while.
Like I feel like it was like an unofficial walk together at the beginning.
Yeah, that's how I remember it too. And then eventually, I think actually, I ran into Brandon at the time, who I didn't know was your husband, but I recognized the dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because our dogs were best buds.
Yeah, they met and like totally fell in love. And then I was like, I know
this dog.
We have a dude. And then and my boyfriend at the time went to high school with Brandon, so it was like this big like, oh my God, like what are you doing here? And he was like, we just moved in, and it was like all
kumbaya.
Yeah, it was a big kumbaya moment.
So we had like mutual friends, but we didn't know that at the time when we were just meeting the two of us.
Yeah, exactly. And then the dog, truly I think the dogs brought us together
100%.
And hilariously enough, I was kind of like in a little bit of a fitness rut. And then so when we both realized that the condo gym is right there, that also was a point of
oh my God, I forgot that we did that.
Yeah.
We did.
I think came a little bit later, but like
because gyms were closed, right? Because it was the pandemic.
I remember. I think it was summer of COVID, like summer.
Yeah, it was. It was 2020 when we moved in, and then And I mean, gyms were closed until 2022. Like when we opened CrossFit Max, gyms had only been open for like 5 months.
Oh my God.
Which is crazy. I feel like those years of my life are just
one big vortex.
Like it's like what happened, they didn't exist. It's like we were on pause.
I know.
Okay, but let me tell you from my perspective. Oh my God, it's 2025. What the freak? Okay, so
anyway, go ahead.
This is funny because I feel like Sacha actually doesn't know how deep my psychosis goes. Okay, it was COVID, and I am the most extrovert in the world. Literally. Okay, and I'm living with my wonderful, beautiful, joyous husband who is not an extrovert. Okay, like he's your coach. You see him at the gym. We talk on the podcast, but like Brandon is not an extrovert.
Yeah.
Okay, so he just like doesn't want to talk to me all day. All day, every day when we're living in a 1-bedroom condo and we can't see anybody else. And there's nothing to talk about because we're just together 24/7. Like he didn't miss a beat. So I'm walking the dog and I bump into Sacha and we meet and walking the dogs and the dogs get along. But then I start to like see my condo. No, my condo was on the front of the building. So I would like see Sacha go out for a walk with her dog out the window and I'd be like, all right, Max, let's fucking go. And I would get the leash on Max so quick and we would fucking walk so fast to catch up to you.
I did not know this at all.
And I would walk so fast just so I could be like, oh, I can meet my new friend Sacha and her dog Bean. And like Max was so happy. So we would literally like spot you from the window and be like, all right, it's time to go for a walk. And Brandon's like, you literally got back from a walk like an hour ago. And I'm like, we're going again.
We're on a mission.
I will make this girl my friend. She will be my friend.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I was like fully stalking you.
I thought it was divine intervention. You know what? It's okay. You got to make things happen.
I mean, it was divine intervention.
You made it happen.
Yeah. I feel like also at the time, like I was going through like a friendship breakup kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Ish around the time that we started like hanging out.
That was hard.
So I was in dire need of a good girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like we really clicked. Like we got along super well. Sacha didn't want to talk that much and I don't shut the fuck up. So we were a match made in heaven.
It was literally hilarious because I am kind of like Brandon, that I'm truly also an introvert but love people, but I need to recharge on my own.
Yeah, like Brandon, you're like a social introvert though. Exactly. You're not like an isolated person.
No. But I do like my dog walks are usually alone, like sometimes with a podcast, and then there's this crazy loud my age though ish, or I thought. I mean, we're pretty much the same age.
Yeah, we're the same age.
And I was like, okay, wow, she's a lot, but like, I mean, this is kind of fun. Like, I need this. I was like, I remember have a girlfriend in this building.
It was so fun because then also we had like hot tubs in the building, so we would text each other and we would go meet upstairs in the hot tub, and then our dog walks turned into like, let's plan it. Let's like plan to go walking at this time, and slowly but slowly our hangouts would be a little bit longer, a little bit more intentional. And like now
our hot tub nights. We had some nice deep chats in there at the beginning.
I feel like we really connected. Yeah, it was really good. So now neither of us live in that building anymore, which is sad. I miss having you as my neighbor.
I miss the hot tubs too.
Yeah, seriously.
It was like perfect girl time in there.
I know. And
the
like the last year that we lived there, I was pregnant, so I couldn't hot tub.
Oh, it's true.
Boo. Ugh. Anyway, so that's how Sacha and I became friends. So we were literally, I feel like it's like literally like friends. Like we were in the same apartment building, and I was like, you are my best friend now.
And you're honestly, which is maybe a little heartfelt, but you're like one of my closest friends that I've made as an adult.
Yeah,
like,
you're definitely.
I don't have any friends that I've made like post 22 years old that I'm like,
yeah,
still love you, still talk to you all the time.
Yeah,
I don't have many. They're all older, like high school, Saja.
Yeah, university. I feel like it's rare to make friendships in adulthood.
Yeah,
and like we really clicked, and then obviously your relationship ended.
Yes,
and I mean, low-key, that was great for me. But we'll get to that later in the episode. But like I feel like we solidified our friendship enough that so then when we weren't living together in the same building, we were able to like keep the friendship going. Yeah, and I definitely like, you're my ride or die now. Yeah.
God bless your extroverted social self.
Oh my God.
If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you would be like, oh, like I used to walk with this girl, and I'd 100%. Be like a distant memory.
I'd be like, I gave her a poop bag one time, and like our dogs were friends, but
yeah,
c'est la vie.
instead. Like, you came to my bachelorette party. Like, we met like the summer when I was planning my wedding. Like,
oh my God, yes.
You were like the last minute addition. I was like,
we got last minute invites and I was so happy.
Yeah, I was like, well, I know that we just became friends, but I love you so much. Please come.
And that was like the best wedding ever. Oh my God.
Yeah,
we reference that wedding all the time.
All the time. Well, that's because it was illegal in the middle of COVID, but that's like besides the
hardest that we partied in.
Literally, we were all dying to take tequila shots. Okay. On this health podcast where we don't take tequila shots anymore because we're super civilized adults.
We're fit.
Yeah, this was years ago. We're not those people anymore.
We take electrolytes now.
Nothing but like BCAAs over here. Okay, people? Okay, so now we got a little bit of a context into mine and Sacha's friendship. So we've been friends for, oh my God, 5 years now.
Over 5 years.
Isn't it like once you hit 7 years, you're locked in for life or whatever?
We're almost there.
Almost there. Don't fuck it up.
I think on Susie timeline we can accelerate that.
Yeah.
Once you're in for like 3 years, you're good.
Yeah. I'm pretty intense, I think. Sorry.
No, we love it. Love it. Everyone needs a Susie.
Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. Anyway, so we became friends now like 5 years ago, being neighbors. Fast forward now, we're sitting together in our podcast studio in my gym, which is really cool. So before we start to get into your CrossFit journey, why don't you give us a little bit of background on like how old you are, what you do for work, like the boring like job interviewee stuff. Like, what do you do for work, so the listeners can kind of get a sense of who you are, maybe what sports you played growing up, like things that you love, and then we can get into like how we are here right now.
Today.
Yeah.
Cool. So I am 30.
On nearly 31.
Nearly 31 in March.
Are we not saying that?
We're
okay.
still 30. We're still 30. 30 and thriving.
Yeah.
No, so I'm an occupational therapist. I've been working for actually just about 5 years. I was graduating when Susie and I met. So
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I just finished. And so, 5 years I've been working at a rehab center in NDG, mostly with like the adult and geriatric population and their mobility needs. So it's like a lot of wheelchair assessments, walkers, that sort of thing. So interesting, because a very different population than the population we see at the
actually
gym.
You probably see so many like what happens to people when they're
the result of like inactivity sometimes.
Yeah, literally okay. I
like,
love that.
I mean,
that's
obviously
like
sometimes it's also like, you know, genetic and whatever, but I mean,
or like people
also,
fall or whatever. I don't know what happens, but
also a lot of what we're trying to prevent here at CrossFit Max.
Would you say like the portion of people that you see, like how many of it do you feel like would be vastly better? Like how many clients or people you would see that you think like, if these people had just like lifted weights, we wouldn't even be having this conversation?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question.
Like, we're not going to quote you on this.
It's hard because I do work with a lot of just like unfortunately older patients that have dementia. So that will like precede any like neuromuscular issue.
100%, yeah.
But the ones that are more like MSK related, so like musculoskeletal, 100%. Like so many diagnoses of like just obesity being like the main factor as to why they need a wheelchair.
And this
crazy.
This population, like how old are the people you mostly dealing with here?
Like I said, for my case, it's mostly geriatric. So like I'd say like 80 and up.
80 and up, got it.
But overall, like if we take into account like some of the younger, I'd say like the mean age is probably like 65.
Oh my god. And 65 is like like my dad is 66.
I know my dad's 68, and it's like sometimes I see patients that are literally that age and are
you probably see some 68-year-olds who look like they could be 90.
Yeah. And honestly, this is like I know we won't get into like diagnostics and stuff, but like diabetes is surprisingly one of the diagnoses that are like the most detrimental for like wheelchair needs, because it affects so many things as you get older.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, anyways, we won't have to get into it.
No, tell us. Tell us. You're a professional
like,
in the field. Tell us.
So much diabetes that it's like as you get older, like your wound healing is delayed. So like if you just get like a cut on your foot, like that could lead to like huge like neuropathy. You'll get a wound that might never heal.
I didn't know
like
that.
It ends up kind of like it could lead to amputations.
This is type 2 diabetes, right?
Either or, but mostly type 2.
Right.
Mostly type 2.
And type 2 is the one that's basically like lifestyle.
Exactly. Like that one, as you get older, is a really tough one because they have no sensation in their feet. That can happen. So like obviously that impacts walking.
They get like swollen, right? Like kinkly.
Yeah, swollen. They can get like nerve damage, so they don't have any sensation. They can't like weight bear anymore on their feet.
Oh my god.
So that happens with like the younger population, which is super sad.
And
kind of preventable.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
too,
with a good diet and exercise.
Like, so that's the one that hits home.
That's hard. It's hard being confronted. Population. Yeah. And I feel like one of my good friends, he's a doctor, and I always say, like, I feel like the world is so healthy now, but you probably have this experience. Is like, I'm working in a field where I'm surrounded by people who are health conscious. Yes. So sometimes I don't realize how big of an, like, how it's still not the norm. Yeah. Even though it's my norm in my world. Yeah. Like, you probably see, like, population all the time where you're like, oh shit, like, if this guy would have just, hit the gym a little bit and 100%. Had like even just like mildly improved diet, we probably wouldn't be having this like wheelchair fitting right now. Yeah. Damn.
And it's sad because it doesn't get much better as you get older. Like, it depends obviously your budget and stuff, but a lot of these people are using like Meals on Wheels and like meal delivery services, and like you look at what they are and it's like, it is not promoting health and well-being.
No.
It's very, very sad, the portions.
I saw somewhere when somebody in my family, or my family was borderline diabetic, and what they were suggested to eat by the doctor was like orange juice and toast, and I was like, is that gonna send you into like a diabetic coma? Like, so much sugar. Should we have some like avocado and eggs maybe? Like, oh my god. Wait, okay, so you're dealing with that population. Okay,
that's my job.
Are we passionate about it?
Ooh, she knows where to hit. Listen, I think I'm passionate about OT, occupational therapy, as like a profession, and I really see its value in the world. Currently in my job, I definitely think I've hit like a plateau of, it's been 5 years of, like I said, mostly wheelchair assessments.
It must be
with
draining.
The dementia population, and it's not like early dementia. It's like at that point usually like pretty advanced. So there's like no patient dynamic anymore. Like, it's really just, it's not as personal as I would hope it to be. Okay. So, but I am passionate about OT. I think it's a beautiful field. I think everyone who has a PT should have an OT.
What is OT, like, in short term, just in case people don't know?
Yes, yeah. If you don't know what occupational therapy is, most people know what physiotherapy is, which is amazing. Physiotherapists will deal mostly with like range of motion, pain. Like, you have an injury, like they're going to rehab you. Whereas OT is kind of complementary, but it's more gonna work on your like lifestyle things that it impacts. Like, let's say ankle sprain or whatever, any sort of injury, physios will deal with the like physical limitations of that injury. Right. Whereas an occupational therapist is more going to assess and help you with how you can still do your activities in your daily life with that injury. So it's like, whether it's like driving, whether it's like walking your dog, cooking. Or like being able to like bathe yourself, like go to the bathroom, like all of your like activities that you need to like be an independent person. So we're more in that sector. And right now I'm like specifically in the mobility sector. So,
okay. Yeah. So maybe in your future we would do something else in OT.
Yeah. I think I'd like to do something a little more broad. Like, right now it's very niche. It's exclusively wheelchairs and walkers. I think I'd like to branch out and do more like, gosh, the world is really your oyster, which is nice with OT. Like, you can be in home care.
It's almost too much choice.
It's almost too much. Yeah. It's a little overwhelming because like you can be with kids, you can be with adults, you can be in a school board, you can be in a long-term care center, you can be.
Right.
So that's on our bingo card for 2025, is exploring a new world of employment.
Okay.
Still in OT, but not in my department. Okay. Sorry, Constance Lethbridge.
I'm sure they're not listening to this episode. Anyone else who's listening to this episode who has a job opportunity in OT, Sacha's looking.
Yeah, Danielle knows. Danielle and I talk about it. Shout out to Danielle. We talk about it all the time. But yeah, so that's my work. And otherwise, my life before here. So I was always a super active kid, teenager.
Did you play sports?
Yeah, so I started swimming, and then which turned into water polo.
Oh yeah,
so that's a fun segue too. That's actually how Justin and I met.
Who's Justin? Oh wait, Justin? He's been on the podcast before, so
that old man.
Justin is Sacha's new boyfriend, because we did sort of mention the old boyfriend, but Justin and you guys have been together for like almost 2 years now.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in March.
Wow.
So, but yeah, we met when we were kids playing water polo. When we were like 13, like first year of high school.
Did you have a crush on him then?
100%.
I love it.
Yeah, it was really cute. He was my crush. And only did I find out.
Did he have a crush on you back?
Yes. He had a crush on me too.
But it's good that you waited, because like, what if you had like had an awkward like kiss at like 14? You could just never look him in the eyes again.
No. Yeah. No, it was good. It was like unrequited. No, it wasn't. That's not unrequited love. No.
I don't know what that word is beyond my scope of understanding.
Like when someone loves you, but the other one doesn't. It's like a one-way street. That's so
you
not what that
both
was.
thought you were the only one.
Yes.
Got it.
Just probably not at the same time. I think me was way at the beginning, and then anyways. But yeah, so that's
so you guys first crossed paths then. So you knew each other.
Yes.
But then you hadn't seen each other in like a decade.
Hadn't seen each other. Yeah, we played water polo together until it was co-ed for the first like 2 years.
Oh, so you played together.
Yeah, we played together.
Who's better?
100% Justin. I have to give it to him.
It's so annoying.
It's
He's
so
good
annoying.
at everything.
Like I love him, but it's hard to beat him at anything.
Yeah, but when I do beat him,
the biggest smile for you.
I let the world know. Like anytime I beat Justin in a workout, because it's not often, I will like send him a text right away being like, I fucking beat you.
No, I gotta say, Justin's really good at a lot of stuff. It's not just at the gym, guys.
But he does put in all of the work. I will say, to give him credit, because I feel like he gets this a lot, that he's like good at everything.
He's just gifted. No, he's not just gifted.
He's not just gifted.
Good.
He does put in all of the work required. He's extremely disciplined.
Absolutely. And his health is super on point.
Yeah,
I know this from living together now. I've never seen him.
Yes, you guys moved in together in July, right?
Yeah, July weekend.
So you still love him?
I still love him.
Okay,
but
podcast
I have never
knows.
Seen anybody eat so much chicken, rice, and broccoli, guys.
Yuck.
There's a reason that
he's shredded,
and so good at everything. Yeah, that's.
Are you eating just as much chicken, broccoli, and rice?
No, I can't.
Oh.
I can't. I'll be honest. I'm too much of a foodie to just. He views food as fuel. And like as much as it is, I do need a little bit of spice of life and variety in there.
Right.
So
fair.
I dabble in the chicken, rice, and broccoli.
Okay.
But I need some more fun.
I think Justin was like a bachelor for like ever until he lived with you. Like you're kind of his like first serious relationship.
Yeah, I am.
He's just like a one and only kind of guy.
And
that was cute. Anyways, so I feel like when you're like a bachelor, he probably just like cooked himself like the same meal and ate it all week.
Yeah, he was a big meal prepper, and honestly he still is, which like is nice because it's kind of influencing me to do the same.
Good.
And no, yeah, to get back to it, he's super disciplined, eats super well, and like he has a very physical job as well. Like it'd be easy to have like a hard day at work and be like, you know what, that was a good enough workout, I'm gonna skip the gym. Never does. Like you have to bully him to take a rest day. You have to be like, hey babe, it's been like 7, 8, 9 days in a row, could we table it?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so you're madly in love. Happily living with your wonderful boyfriend. And the reason that I said earlier that it was so good when she broke up with her last boyfriend is because these are my two best friends.
Yeah.
And I feel like it is like Brandon and I used to joke that Justin was like the third wheel of our relationship. Like we just like love him to bits and he would just do everything with us. But then I have like another girl that is like literally one of my best friends in the world. And now my two best friends are happily in a beautiful, loving relationship together.
Yeah.
As far as that goes from my perspective, it's like that's the dream situation because the dynamic of the four of us is
so fun.
The best.
Always so fun.
The best. Yeah.
Except when we play board games. I'm so sorry, Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon is a bit intense with the board games. I love him for it, though. I'm on Team Brandon.
We need someone to organize games. He's good at it.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got...
Water polo.
Water polo was your sort of sport of choice.
That was my bread and butter all throughout high school. It was very competitive. That was like kind of all I did.
Yeah.
And then around Sec 4, Sec 5, I also joined the rugby team in high school.
Oh my God.
That was mostly summer.
I'm sorry, you played rugby?
Yeah. I had a lot of rage apparently as a kid.
That's
water polo, rugby. Rugby was really more like high school though. Like I didn't join outside of high school. Like water polo was extracurriculars like 5-6 days a week.
Okay.
Rugby was purely school and like occasional tournaments.
Wow.
And then when I graduated, honestly, it kind of all stopped. CEGEP started. I stopped playing water polo. It was just too intense. I
feel like at that age when you're in a like sport, it's either like you become the sport,
literally,
or you like join the degenerates of CEGEP and like start partying.
Yeah.
And there's not much in between.
There's no, and that's kind of hard. I feel like I didn't do like sport études or anything in high school, but it was really competitive. Like water polo, the league we were in, it was like the only one in the West Island.
They are violent.
They geared you like you're either going to be an Olympian or you're just gonna be a reject of not the Olympians.
Yeah, but I feel like I watched water polo and they're crazy.
Yeah, it was intense.
Like
fucking intense. We're gonna swear.
You're not like a big girl, Sacha.
I'll give it to myself. I was a little bigger when I was in elementary school. I was a little chunkier. But still, no, I was not the biggest.
You must have been like the runt of the team.
Honestly, no. There was some small, it was a very, we had a really, and honestly, some of the tiny girls will really surprise you. There's
feisty.
Some feisty little bitches.
Yeah, like they definitely don't cut their nails beforehand.
No, and even though there's nail checks, some of them will be like, yeah, I cut them, and
they check your nails.
They check your nails, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Nail checks, yeah.
Oh my God.
And there's some savages that would be like, yeah, I cut them, but then they would cut them into a point. Like,
no
I
way.
The little techniques that people had
That's
to be sick. I
love it.
I preferred playing with the boys. Honestly, I was really traumatized.
Because their nails aren't as long.
Well, the boys just aren't as dirty as the girls.
Or they're not as dirty with the girls.
Not even. I think they're not as dirty even with each other. Like, it's like, who is better skill-wise? Who's faster? Whereas girls are like, anyways, this is TMI for a podcast, but let's just say they pull in places that you don't want to be pulled.
Gotcha.
Let's just say we started removing our hair really early on in life because they pull.
Oh. Downstairs hair.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah,
now the podcast knows. Don't have a bush if you're playing water polo.
Literally, though, the girls will know. If you played summer water polo, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, but that was...
So that kind of ended. You hit CJAB.
That ended, and then I did the thing where everyone went to John Abbott. I went to Dawson.
Why?
Number one question. I wanted to get out of the West Island bubble. I feel like I did not want.
So you spent all of your CJAB years riding the fucking bus, or
literally, the 470 to Côte Vertu to fucking Atwater.
John Abbott was the best 2 years of my life. You missed out.
I feel like it's truly one or the other. I feel like everyone was like, oh, it was just like high school all over again, or they found their people and it was the best fucking time. You were one of those. It was
I found my people.
Time. Yeah.
But it's also because I went to like a snobby private school for high school. So when I went to CJAP, I was like, whoa, these people are so grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was literally, I think we were 4 people in my graduating class that did not go to John Abbott. So it would have just been high school 2.0, and I loved high school, but I was like ready for something else. And I think, but that did have a big impact in like what sports I was going to play or like what my extracurriculars were. Cause I did have to add like an hour and a half extra there and back of commuting per day. So it was like 3 hours of commuting.
Yuck.
But it was great. I met some people there that I'm still friends with today.
Nice.
And then honestly though, the fitness journey I just became a commercial gym girly. I was a YMCA girl.
No way.
Yes,
okay, good for you.
I was a YMCA girl. And they had a boot camp there. I will always remember Mondays and Thursdays. That was so hard. It was so good. I looked forward to it every single time.
Okay. I didn't know this about you.
I totally stopped sports by then, basically. And then it was just, commercial gym, occasional boot camp classes, all of throughout university. Actually, in university, I rejoined a beer league for water polo. That was fun.
Oh,
that was super fun.
Look at you.
But that was it. I haven't really played sports since then. And
I feel like that happens to most adults.
It is sad. It's a bit sad, but that's why, I mean, we'll get into it in a sec, but I kind of really love that about CrossFit too.
Yeah.
That I think it reminds, like, I feel like for people who
it's kind of like a sport. Yeah.
Like it's no longer
you get the camaraderie.
Exactly. And like there are competitive aspects.
True.
And there are team aspects sometimes with like partner workouts. Like it feels like for people who were athletic, I think younger, it
scratches the itch.
Absolutely.
Okay. So then when I became friends with you in like 2020, you were not doing like a whole lot of fitness.
No, I'm going to be honest. COVID really
put you on pause.
Put me on pause. As soon as everything closed, I tried the online stuff. God, I hated it. I hated it. Remember I tried Blossom also for a little bit. That
was mine and Brandon's OG online business during COVID. Sacha is a very supportive friend. So I was like, hey, I'm doing this business. Should I sign you up?
And she's
like, yeah.
I'll try it. It was yoga, online yoga.
Yeah, you did some.
I could do a little bit of something different. Yeah, because at that point I was really just walking the dog. I would occasionally hit up our condo gym.
Yeah, we would go once in a while together. I feel like
it's not motivating. Free weights. There's a treadmill. There was a bike, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot to be desired.
But, like, I think you really need to know what you're doing if you want to use... Yep. Like, I just wasn't there. Like, I was someone who went to classes and, like, kind of had a dilly-dally sort of program.
Yeah.
So, when we met, I was really... I think I was working out maybe 2 days a week at that point.
Yeah.
Mostly dog walking. I was in a big rut. I was in a big fitness rut.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you say you were, like, fit at that time?
Not at all.
No. Okay.
I had... Like, I knew what I had...
But you liked fitness and you wanted to be active, but you were kind of just, like...
I struggled with the online stuff because of the pandemic. I
Lack
really
of
tried,
connection, yeah.
But like I just didn't enjoy it, and also like
I feel like women we thrive being coached.
Yeah, and also like I feel like if you don't have the commitment of like when it's almost too flexible, I kind of hate it because you have the potential to just not do it. You'll be like, oh, I'll do it later. Or, you know what? I'm going to do this thing and then I'll do it.
Yeah. And then
you just never do. And that's kind of what happened.
Or you're like, oh, I washed my hair this morning. So that makes today a write-off.
We're done. You're like, oh, I went for a really long walk. That'll be enough. And it's like, cool, but that's not going to get you stronger.
Okay. So then fast forward, we became friends and I started shoving fitness down your throat against your will.
Literally.
After our walks, I was like, should we start running together?
Oh my God,
should we start going to the gym together? Should we do everything together? Are we best friends? Do you want to get matching tattoos? Like,
oh my God,
I forced you to start running. We were running.
That. We were
but
running
you had
with the
knee
dogs.
issues.
Yeah, I had a lot of knee pain. That was from an existing rugby injury that I just never really dealt with. Right. It was clearly not surgical. It was just kind of like, I think it was, anyways, I couldn't tell you what it was.
I think it was just remember. Like a lack of like strength.
Back then, I remember taking a really bad hit, but even when I got it
I'm
checked
sure
out,
it happened as something, but then I feel like it probably continued because you don't have that knee pain anymore, right?
I did when I was starting to run again, but then it was a whole other story. It never, I don't feel it during CrossFit, but when I would feel it when we would run.
Okay.
And when I started the whole half marathon training, that sadly fell apart. We will do it again. It's okay.
Did you sign up this year?
I did.
Nice.
I did. But yeah, the knee pain was still there. And I was like, gosh, dang it. Like, what are we going to do?
Okay.
But anyways, long story short, we changed the shoes and we strengthened.
We upgraded the shoes and we got fucking strong ass legs.
Yeah. And no more knee pain. I still feel like it could be there, but it's like, it's really not mild. Like it was before.
Okay.
It's really tolerable.
So in 2022, CrossFit Max opened. And I think you were like maybe the second Foundations client we had.
Oh, yeah?
Like Daphne and Lucy were first.
And then it was me and AJ.
And then you and my friend AJ were, I think, next.
I remember.
So what?
It was like end of summer 2022, I think. We weren't right away. You guys opened July, right?
August.
How dare I?
How dare you not know
I got that trivia question right at the Christmas party, I swear.
It was probably Justin who knew the answer. Anyways.
because I started in October.
How did you get started? Why did you get started? And tell me about starting CrossFit.
I'm going to be honest. If it wasn't for you and Brandon opening a gym, I would not be here.
That makes good
totally not
sense.
I had heard about CrossFit just like the rest of the world had, and I thought it was crazy. I thought you guys were a bunch of lunatics. I thought it was...
Now you're one of us.
Now I'm one of us. I'm in the cult. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
No, I'll be honest. I had definitely like a little bit of a negative like view of it.
Yes.
I thought it was like...
Tell me all of the things that you thought.
I thought it was, well, I mean, other than everyone being like super ripped and beautiful and wow, you guys are so attractive. That's one thing.
Love it. That's a good thing. I'm
like,
tell me the bad things.
I thought it was just all like, it doesn't really matter about technique, doesn't matter about form, doesn't matter about anything that will keep you safe. It's all about high weights, fast time. Nobody gives a shit about the rest.
Yeah, and being shirtless. I think that is probably like most people on the out. No. Not accurate at all. Oh my God, you psycho. No, I was going to say that's probably what most people who are outside of the CrossFit space think. So it's kind of nice to hear that's like, that was your initial belief about CrossFit. Absolutely. And then I didn't force you to join the gym, but
no, you didn't.
I feel like you were just trying to be a really good friend at the beginning. We just opened a business and like you knew that we had invested a lot of money and time into it. And so I feel like because of that, you were like, well, let me at least give it a try.
Exactly. Yeah. Like couldn't have said it better myself. Like I think our friendship, like I had heard, like we'd been friends at that point for a couple years.
I had been shoving fitness down your throat for all those years.
And also just like, like how much work you and Brandon have been putting into like opening this up, like your dream. And I was like, I've been supporting Blossom, and like as much as online yoga isn't super much my thing, like this is actually a window to potentially get me back into
something that's
the
more
your rut that I was in. It was just like a way out. And
it really does mean a lot to us, like that our close friends, who had never done CrossFit before were like, well, if you're opening a gym, like I'm gonna sign up and I'm gonna pay full price and I'm gonna support your business. 100%. Like the first like 50 people were like make or break for this gym. And so it was super nice that pretty much all of my close girlfriends joined at the beginning. I mean, pretty much everyone who was like a close friend of mine. And I feel like that's a testament to like what kind of friends I have, like, and none of my friends have ever said like, hey, can I have a discount, or hey, can I, everyone's like, hey, like, how can I support you and like pay full price?
If anything, people don't want a discount because it's like we're here to help you and support you.
And then, so maybe it kind of started as you wanting to support me, but that's not why you're still here 2 years later. So tell us.
It started as, let's support them. And listen, like I said, I was really in a fitness rut. I needed something to change and I just didn't know what. So it was kind of like a perfect opportunity. In the summer, I'm always a little more fit, like doing like outdoor workouts 100%. Or like running. I think that's just for everybody. But then when the summer ended, I was like, oh God, like I need something. Yeah. And obviously you guys were super involved in the gym still. It just opened. But I was like, let's figure out like how do we start? What is this? And then I did foundations, with AJ. Yeah. Which was super fun. We were like two of us that had never touched CrossFit trying to learn. Actually, this is a really funny story. I'm sad
I love
Brandon's
it. Tell
not
us.
Here to remember it because
I'm sure he'll laugh when he's hearing.
He will. I'm sure he'll laugh. I don't remember at which point in foundations you do toes to bar.
Yeah, the third episode.
Yeah,
third episode.
The third episode of foundations.
So on your third foundations class, we go over knee raises / toes to bar. Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember, so AJ had no problem with it because she used to do gymnastics.
She was a gymnast,
so easy for her. Oh my God. But I remember the first time Brandon said it, and now I hear it, and I sound like such an idiot. But when he said it, I really thought he said toast to bar. Toasta. So the word toast, like space bar. I'm like, what on earth is toasta?
Oh my God. I'm dead. You're like, so today we're doing toast to bar?
And it was just like a roll off the tongue toast to bar. I'm like, okay, well, sure. And AJ and I kind of looked at each other because I think she heard it the way I heard it too. But then he got up on the bar and she was like, oh. And I was like, I'm still not getting it. It did not click. Like that toast was toes to bar.
That's funny.
Hilarious.
So you were so fresh that you literally thought it was called toast to bar.
I thought it was a bar where you get toasta. But yeah, and then we finished foundations. Had my reservations still a little bit because I felt like everything was hard and everything was not clicking.
This is this is actually so powerful to have you saying these things on the podcast because I think sometimes even now you're like so deep in it you forget what that felt like. But when you first started, you were like, why do I suck at everything? And this is super hard. Yeah. Right.
Everything was, like, I felt like endurance wise, I was okay. Like I was coming from not the bottom, you know, like I had a fitness, but I just hadn't been working for a little while. But
we were just rusty in terms of your fitness.
Yes,
you weren't.
But in terms of like technique and like new things to learn, I was
it's like, a lot of information.
Is a lot, man. And I do struggle with that though. That's something that like if I don't get it right away, I've been like that since I was a kid. If I'm not the best, or if I'm not 100% getting it right away, I don't want to do it anymore.
I'm exactly the same.
That was tough. It still is tough, honestly.
Yeah. That's how I feel
now
too.
You're kind of on the reverse. You're like, I've been doing this now for several years. Why am I still not getting it?
Yeah. It's like a different hurdle. Now you're in at the beginning you have exponential growth because you just like get better every single week and then you start to get really good. So you can't improve that much on really good every week. So then you kind of get like a plateau every once in a while and then another little boost and then another little plateau and you know, then
I'm in that right now.
Yeah, it is mentally a little bit tough.
Of CrossFit, but otherwise, like as a gym, as CrossFit Max, like the best decision I ever made. 100%.
Oh, like, that makes my heart happy.
We finished foundations, and I think we finished on like we were doing it Saturdays, I think, right after.
Because AJ lives like downtown, so she was coming all the way.
Before, I don't remember. I think it was Saturday afternoons, and then I remember the minute we finished it, I think I signed up. I think at first I took a 10 class pack. We eased into it. We eased into
a lot of people start that way. That's how we get you.
And then just committed. At first it was on 3 days, and then I was like, well, I'm doing the 3 days by like Thursday, and I want to keep going.
Yeah, you're like, I want to
come. I
went
to Unlimited pretty fast. And
I feel like you were pretty quick.
Since then I try to come 5 days a week. I was doing 6 for a little while, but it is hard on the body. Yeah. So 5 is my sweet spot.
5 is your sweet spot. I like it.
5 is my sweet spot, and it's the best. It's
you've been so consistent since you joined, and
really loved it.
Your gains are insane.
Aww,
and like I don't love commenting on people's bodies, but I'm gonna comment on yours right now.
Yeah, I wish we could attach footage.
You look completely different. Like you were already like you were beautiful and perfect the way you were, but I feel like you. Like literally sometimes we look back at old pictures and I'm like, I can't believe you forget how much you've changed. Like you're shredded, you're lean, you're defined now. Like your whole physique is different. You have like the bubble butt. Like girl, Sacha is fine. Like you were already stunning, but like this is just like sometimes I look at pictures and I have to double take who's in that picture and I'm like, oh my God, that was Sacha 2022. Yeah. Like that's crazy.
Even you forget. Like I knew at the time that I was definitely not in my prime. Like I was not feeling my most confident, but like you compare side by side and you're like, okay,
who is she?
There's a very significant difference.
Yeah.
Like,
And other than
photo,
physically,
there was a photo of me and AJ
finishing your foundations. Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. I really wish we could attach footage right now, but it's really like as you said, body was just kind of like a bonus.
Yeah, I was going to say, so other than our physical, other than you've had a massive, I would say, glow up in your physical body. But other than that, what do you feel like are the things that you most get from CrossFit? Like, what does it bring to your life?
Oh, that's a good question. There's a lot of things that come to mind when you ask me that question.
The's no wrong answer.
I think I just have a lot.
Start listing
like
them.
I said, like for one of them, like
it's basically an advertisement for the gym right now.
Come here, it'll change your life.
I'll pay you after we get off.
No, but I really think, like, as I said just before, like, I think someone who used to play sports as a teenager, even as a kid, as you get older, like, that stuff does just stop. Mm-hmm. And I think it kind of gives you a new purpose to working out. Like, you're not just working out, like, for fun. I mean, you it is obviously fun, but, you know, like, it's no longer just, like, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to hit up, like, this, these exercises, and, like, chow bye, like, we're out of here. Like, it's, like, everything is programmed to, like, get you stronger at a certain objective. Like, everything is well thought out for goals that, like, obviously if you follow like a gym program, that's also true. I just wasn't one of those.
Yeah,
but
you were
like,
just working out randomly before.
Exactly.
Got it.
So I think it just gives you like purpose to your workouts. Mm-hmm. And
that's what I love about it too.
Super. Yeah, like I feel like I'm back to kind of like, not in a sport, but it definitely feels more like purposeful, like a sport did. And like, I'm sure people say it all the time, but like 100%, the camaraderie and like the community of the gym and is just wild. Like,
I mean, that brought you and Justin together.
Yeah, it did.
You guys knew each other when you were teenagers, but you reconnected kind of here at CrossFit Max, right?
Literally when you guys went to Australia and Justin
2 years ago
was coaching a little bit more during that holiday
You're like,
break.
who's this hottie?
I had some class. I think Justin obviously remembers this as well, but there was a class that in the end I was the only member that had signed up. So it was just Justin and I.
How much working out got done?
It was cardio and cardio.
Tell us the truth.
It was already chill. It was chill, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't cardio.
What kind of workout were you doing, Sacha? Was it cardio?
It was not cardio that day. It was not cardio that day. But no, it was, definitely like the community is just, like I feel like even if I'm having like an off day or like it's just been like a weird day at work with like a lot of
you deal
heavy
with
patients.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh. Like, I just know that, like, even if I'm walking into the gym feeling a little like, ugh, like let's just work out and get this done and you'll feel better after. Obviously, the endorphins of a workout make you feel better, but also, like, all the people you chat with and, like, hi, no. Like, it's
like a little family.
Yeah. And, like, your little time slot that you sign up for kind of becomes, like, your crew a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. What time? You're, like, a 6 p.m.er mostly.
I'm a 6 p.m.er. Yeah, I'm definitely a diehard 6 p.m.er.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
So I feel like
competition.
I mean, I can totally edit this part out if you don't like what I say.
Me.
But I feel like you're a different person.
Yeah.
Than when we first became friends.
Interesting.
But
Tell me.
not like, oh my gosh, you were like bad and now you're good.
Yeah.
Not like that at all. But I feel like when we first became friends, I feel like you were in a rut with a lot of things. You were in a rut with your fitness, but you were also in a rut with your relationship.
Yes.
And you were just kind of like
in
a rut.
Stuck, I think, when we met. I was in a rough place, I think.
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, I think all of the things are related. You've made a lot of life changes. Yeah. But I feel like since the gym opened and you've been like doing CrossFit here with us, I've watched you like blossom out of your shell. Like, I feel like you're just ultra positive now, and I think that maybe wasn't your natural tendency when we became friends.
Still isn't.
I really feel like you are, though. But I feel like you catch yourself if you even say something negative. You like almost catch yourself before it comes out of your mouth now.
Aww,
and like we,
saying that.
As people, we can all be negative. Like, I can also be negative. Like, it's not. There's nothing. It's being mindful about it. I think is the big change. And I feel like you're so conscious of it now. I feel like you're more extroverted than you were when we first became friends, or at least you are inside the gym. You know, like, it brings out the chatty side in you. Like,
I was gonna say, I feel like I said, when I'm having an off day where like maybe if I were home, I'd be like, I wouldn't be super chatty Cathy. I would just be like, okay, like, is it tomorrow yet? Like, sometimes if I'm in a bad mood, I just like
you used to laugh at me the next day. We would go walking the dog and I would be like, oh, like, hey, Jackie, hey Rob, hey whatever, and she's like, Sacha would look at me and she's like, how the fuck do you know all these people's names?
Hi to like literally every single person in the
and I'm
building.
like, well, like we walk every day, so I see them every day, so I know all these people. And she was like, I've been walking every day too, and I don't know any of these people.
I've been living here like a whole lot longer than you, and I don't know their names. And she's like, I'm just social,
but like I feel like you're initiating saying hi to people. When I see you in the gym, I see you introducing yourself to new clients. Like I see you
100%.
I think being more outgoing.
Yeah. I have to say, I find going into, like, this is going to sound corny, but I do think that, like, crossing the doors into the gym, I'm, like, instantly, like, I just want to be positive. Like, it makes me be that way. I'm going to cry. It makes me
I'm
happy.
literally going to cry.
It really does.
That's
and, like, seeing everybody. And
I'm
like,
actually going to cry. Now we're crying. Because that is, like, if I could put into paper, like, the one thing that Brandon and I wanted from opening the gym was like for people to feel like that, like to walk in and feel like literally you're crossing the door and like you're just in like the happiest place on earth. I know it sounds so stupid to say, but it's so true. So it's like touching to hear you say that, and now we're both crying. So
I feel like you've definitely achieved that, both of you, because
thank you for saying
the community is stunning, and it always like even like I said, even if I'm not feeling good, I just fake it for like 2 minutes and then I instantly feel it, because like that's just the way the community is now. Like everyone is friends, and even if you're not friends with the person, you're friendly, and then instantly like a bond forms. And it's like the fact that everybody knows pretty much everybody's name after they've only been here for like maybe a couple classes is like
there's like no cliques, there's no like
and I don't think
whatever, it's just
listen,
everyone's
I've never
open
been to another CrossFit gym ever, like truly ever, not even like in another country.
And you better not, bitch. Well, you can go when you're traveling.
Like,
when you're traveling, you're allowed.
They're like, oh, you know, like I'm traveling, like let's try a CrossFit workout like here.
That's cool. You could do that. I'll allow that.
That's allowed. But I never have. Justin and I haven't yet together, and I don't know that I would like feel the same. I don't know. I'm like so curious to see what.
I feel like you should go and experience other things. But I mean,
it's just
I am obviously going
from what I've heard,
but it is special. It is special here. I have trained at other gyms, and it's not the same. And I think because of the experiences that Brandon and I had at other gyms, we wanted it to be different.
Yeah.
So it's touching like my soul to hear you say that basically it's doing exactly that. But I was going to say, like, you're more outgoing. I feel like you're just physically fitter. Yes. But I feel like you're glowing. You're positive. I mean, you upgraded your boyfriend. Like, there's just, like, so many.
I definitely think a confidence is a huge bonus.
Exactly.
I definitely feel like I've increased my confidence in, like,
I can just
crazy,
see
but, like,
it.
You feel stronger and like everything clicks. Like that's so corny, but like it's true. Like I feel like when you get something in the gym or like you've shown improvement in something and you feel proud of yourself, it's like wow. It like translates to all aspects of your life.
It really does though. Like, and that's kind of what I was like trying to peel out of you with the questions that I was asking. And I think that's the testament to just like if you're listening to this and you haven't yet taken those steps into a CrossFit gym, or more specifically CrossFit Max, like do it. It will bleed out into the other things in your life. Yeah. And then one thing I wanted to touch on with you is that you do not live close to the gym.
No.
You actually have to drive by 3 other CrossFit gyms to get here.
Is it 3 really?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to name them because you know. But yes, you have to pretty much drive past 3 CrossFit gyms to get to CrossFit Max, because you live how far away do you live?
So we live in Lachine. Thankfully we're right off the 20, so there's not too much.
Yeah, but
like,
if our listeners are in Belgium,
traffic, we're like 25 minutes by car.
No traffic.
Okay. Listen, sometimes if you get lucky with the lights, you can make it maybe in like 22 minutes. Let's say 22.
Sacha, by the way, just so everybody on the podcast knows, her concept of time is different than the rest of us. And she's fucking late for everything. So when she says 22 minutes, she really means 25, 26 minutes. It's just that her brain doesn't understand time. Anyways, I just thought I would
human being. Thank you for that.
I just wanted like people to understand that when she says 22 minutes, she actually means 30 minutes.
It is, yeah. She's not wrong. It's chronically late for everything.
You're good though. You're pretty much on time for classes here though. Yeah. But like if I invite you to hang out at my house, I tell you 30 minutes before I actually want you to show up.
Oh, no, that's a safe move for anything social. If it starts at 8, I won't be there till 9. So tell me it starts at 8.
I'm always like, Sasha, come at 4. And Brandon's like, don't tell her to come at 4. I'm like, she won't be there till 5.
True.
Okay, but
yeah, no, we definitely live far. At first, when I started, I was in Point Claire, which for reference is
15 minutes,
maybe 15.
Yeah, well, I mean, I used to live there, so
yeah. And then even when I moved, I was still in Point Claire, which was even closer. It was like maybe 8 minutes. Yeah. But I've been in Lachine now for like 3 years.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God. What the?
Is it?
No,
that's
2
that's
years.
not
2
possible.
years.
2 years. And yeah, it's definitely a little bit more of a trek, like on traffic. That's why I love 6 p.m. because you get obviously less traffic. But yeah, it's far, but it's like it's worth it. You know, like it's. Mm-hmm. We talk about even just financially too. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
like
that's gonna be my
CrossFit
next question.
Is definitely like a pretty penny.
Yeah, you. It's definitely not the cheapest way you could work out,
but it's always been a priority. Like when I ended my last relationship, there was obviously a big, financial
change,
toll on my life, which, it is what it is.
Yeah, you went from a 2-income household to a 1-income household, and you were supporting yourself alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like our rent was extremely cheap, and then I went from extremely cheap rent to
extremely expensive
to just extremely expensive on my own.
Yeah.
And so that was tough.
Yeah, that was intense.
I had to cut in a lot of things, but I always said, like, my financial advisor, he was like, oh, like, fitness is kind of a big chunk of your pie chart. And I was like, do not touch that pie chart. Like, that section's not moving. And he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, like, we'll cut in other aspects. I will, like...
You're like, I'll stop getting my nails done, but I'm not stopping CrossFit.
My nails done for 2 years. Which I know
that is
so
how...
bougie, but it's true. Like, that adds up. That's, like, $50-$60, depending on where you go, once a month.
Yeah.
Like... I mean,
out. And
no
also
takeout,
you're like a little bit of a high maintenance girly.
Yeah,
and the fact that you did like make that choice shows how important CrossFit is to you. And I think that a lot of people, they see the number, a lot of people when they reach out to CrossFit Max and they've never walked in these doors and they haven't met myself or Brandon or Amanda or Vanessa or Daphne, none of our coaches, they haven't met anybody yet. So we're just a website.
Yes.
They email us, and our prices are not on our website on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So they reach out to us and they say, like, hey, how much does it cost? And usually I'm like, come for a free trial.
Let's talk about
let's talk about it.
Yes.
But for a lot of people, it's normal. Like, finances are a big part of our lives. 100%. And of course, you have to be able to afford something. But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head where you were saying, like, for you had a massive change financially, but you decided for you knew that this was like a non-negotiable in your finances, in your schedule, in your time management. Like, this is something I'm not willing to give up. So that just meant that there was some other things that you had to give up.
Yeah.
I mean,
and at first I was kind of like, you know what, as you are right though, like on paper, the number is like, oh,
yeah, it makes you go
steep, because if you maybe came from something else that you're like, okay, that's like not just like an extra $20. Like, you have to really ration it out in your head. But I agree that I think once you start, like, it's just a complete like lifestyle. Like, it's so corny, but it's not.
Yeah, because if you told someone, okay, it's going to cost you like roughly, let's say $200 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to cost you roughly $200 a month, but it's not just going to be 4 60-minute workouts a week.
Yeah.
You're going to have new best friends. You're going to have so much more confidence inside and out the side of the gym. You're going to get the body and the booty of your dreams. You know what I mean? You're going to have like all of this stuff. You're going to learn about nutrition. Like, we talk about all these things. There's so much value in the community. And so it's so hard from a business side of things to try and communicate to someone for sure, like when they reach out to us via email. That's why we always want to get them to come in and experience it, because once they experience it, then you can be like, you can't really put a price tag on this. And the reason that we have the price that we have is because we want to have quality members. Brandon and I talk all the time about how like our goal for 2025 is to have 150 quality members. We do not want you to sign up for the gym and not come.
Yeah.
That doesn't work our model. Nobody's going to like willy-nilly let a $200 payment go through on their credit card every month and not come to the gym. Right. That's not the point. We don't want like a BuzzFit where they spend like $20 a month and they secretly, they're like, literally secretly, like BuzzFit is secretly hoping you don't come and use their equipment. You know what I mean? But here we really want to have 150 quality members who are actually using it, and like Sacha, like living and breathing who we are and what we represent inside but outside the gym also.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm glad you kind of went there, because I was like, I'm not going to ask you about your finances on the podcast.
No,
but I feel like that's such an important thing. So it's like, we're hearing from Sacha. She has a pretty like intense job. She doesn't work close to the gym at all.
No.
You don't live close to the gym at all.
No.
And I mean, now you and Justin are living together, so you're kind of back to being a sort of two-income
we're back to being a
household. But I
two-income
mean,
household. And it helps
still.
that we're also both members here.
Yes.
That as
True.
much as it's like
accountability buddy.
Accountability, exactly. Like, especially, I know for him it's challenging because he finishes work a lot earlier than I do. So he goes home, has time to like decompress for several hours, and then goes to the gym, which I know is tough for him. But it's like he kind of tells me all the time that like if I wasn't, because basically I finish my work day and I stop off at home and I pick him up and then we both come together for the 6 p.m. class. It's like
so cute. You
what
guys
we're
are
doing.
so in love. Oh my God. Justin, put a ring on it.
Carpool. But I think like he says it all the time that he's like, honestly, like if you weren't picking me up, he's like, I think I would sometimes struggle with wanting to go, because it's true. Like the decompression time is important, and also it's like it is at least a half-hour drive. Like there's a couple factors that like would make it difficult, but having a buddy totally makes a difference.
Right. And knowing you're going to show up here with your buddies, you know, like you have people, if you're not lucky enough to live with your accountability buddy, there's a class full of accountability buddies who are going to be checking in on you.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have a ton of couples who train here now, which is like super fun to watch.
I think it's easy to like have, I feel like as one person starts doing it and they fall in love with it, it seems like it's been a lot of couples now, like the other partner has followed.
Yes, and almost always it's the woman joins.
Yes, I was just
and then
say
they
that.
rope in the men. Like we had Ocean bring in Ali, we had Jess bring in Mike. Who
JC
else? Brought in her husband Josiah. Yeah, anyways,
others.
I can't think
it's
of
very
others.
cool. So I think it's obviously fun having a buddy, but it's like never been it's been a non-negotiable for us since the beginning.
Yeah,
it's not come down on the pie chart.
I love that. So CrossFit is here
and
to say
gas and rent.
Groceries, gas, rent, and then CrossFit, and then everything else is whatever's left over.
Yep.
I love that. I love that. And I think more people should have that mindset of, instead of seeing it as an expense, you see it as a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you finesse your finances elsewhere.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's been, I have zero regrets about it. Like that year was tough, I'll be honest. That year where I was on my own. But like I wouldn't have changed anything about it, because it gave me like a home, and it gave me like people that were my people when I was like, it was kind of a hard time. Like obviously like Justin and I got together, I'd say relatively quick after that relationship ended. But like just in
I was
general,
definitely team Justin.
It was my first time like living on my own as an adult. Like there were a lot of firsts.
I've never done
for
that.
me in
That's
that
crazy.
Year. Yeah, it was super fun, but obviously came with like its ups and downs. And like I felt that like coming here, it was always just going to put me in a good mood. And it was obviously good for my body, but like so good for my mental health. Yeah. And like that there's no price tag, I find, to mental health. Like honestly, you could arguably say that CrossFit Max was my therapy for 2023.
You're welcome.
And 2024. So
yes,
again in 2025.
Amazing. I love it. I'm so excited. And honestly, your fitness gains have been insane. Give us you told it the group class today, but tell us, what is your fitness goal for 2025? Give us a couple.
One has been on it for now 2 years. It's the third time it's getting recycled, but it's fine.
We're on it. I'm not letting the year go by without it.
A strict pull-up.
Okay.
In 2025.
You heard it here. She put it out into the podcast.
I think this year's the year.
I really think so too.
Because
we're close.
We've changed bands. We've changed to a different band. I can do more.
Okay.
The kipping pull-ups are getting linked.
Hell yeah.
We're good. It's gonna come.
So strict pull-up is coming in 2025. Any other fitness goals? You got the half marathon you're actually gonna run this year, because last year she sprained her ankle, by the way. She didn't ditch the plan. She just sprained her ankle.
It was a really shitty sprain, and it took a really long time to recover. Honestly, even now, like occasionally, like I jump and I land a little wrong, and I'm like, damn. So that's like, I was just telling Justin walking the dog today. I was like, is this forever going to be my bad ankle? Like, do you have a good ankle and a bad ankle?
No.
That's a symptom.
We're gonna get you
older,
back.
I think.
No, shut the fuck up.
But yeah, half marathon. And when is that? October?
Yeah, so, I'm doing it too this year. I don't know if you knew. Yeah.
It's going to be so fun.
Okay, what else?
I would like to snatch 100 pounds.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good goal.
I think my one rep is 90, and I joined the O-Lift.
Yes, we have an O-Lift class called the Lift Lab now, and Sasha's in there. So cool. I'm so happy you signed up for that.
Me too.
Yeah.
It took a little bit of a push, but honestly, kind of like...
Brandon's relentless, eh?
Well, not even. He is relentless
in a beautiful, loving way.
It was kind of perfect because like I also felt like in 2025, like I'm gonna be honest, like we talked about it briefly, but CrossFit definitely has some like points of plateau that can be taxing. Yeah, you kind of feel like, oh my god, like you said, like at the beginning you're making all these strides and all these gains, and eventually like you do get there, and then you're
it's because you get really good, and so it's hard to go from really good to really good. You know what I mean? Like,
but at the beginning everything's getting better.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then eventually it's like, you know what, you're still going to get better, but it's not going to be as noticeable, and they're going to be like smaller gains, but like everything is still a win, and just keep doing what you're doing. But what was I saying? Yes, so that I wanted kind of like I was in a bit of a plateau when you guys launched the O-Lift and the after school club, and it was kind of like, you know what, like maybe this is exactly the kind of like
because you
added push or like
you're gonna get more attention on it.
Yes, and it's like a skill, like Olympic lifting is like obviously something we do every strength component, but like this is just that for an hour twice a week, and it's like bound to teach you a new skill
100%
or work on a skill that's kind of struggling already.
So, and those are high skill movements, so it's good to give them attention.
Since we're doing O-Lift and the snatch is one of them, I hope to achieve that goal.
I think that's good. Okay, you heard it here, people.
Snatch 100 pounds, or let's say at least 100 pounds. If we hit over 100, I'm perfect.
Yeah, well, once we hit 100 we'll get a new goal.
Yeah,
we'll put a new goal in the tank.
And the half marathon, I would love
These are
to
fantastic goals.
Complete it.
I'm excited. We're going to be able to run together this year. It's going to be like old times. I'm going to force you to hang out with me.
No, but it's going to be great.
And I have a running stroller now, so we can bring Tommy.
No, I need the accountability running partner because running, I love running. I do. But I find it's so much more time consuming than people let on to be.
Yeah. And it can be like
consuming activity.
It can be mundane, so finding a running partner who will talk your ear off the whole time is probably good.
Get yourself a Susie.
Get yourself a Susie. Amazing. Okay, typically we end the podcast with client of the week, but because this is like we're currently in Australia and we're recording this before we go, and I don't know who the client of the week is going to be. So what we are actually doing instead while we're away is we're reminiscing about a super fun memory. It could be of you or it could be of somebody else, but like a fun, like a moment that's like a standout memory that happened at CrossFit Max. So you have a funny memory of the Open. Was it last year?
It was last year's Open, and this is kind of perfect timing because I saw that we were starting Open prep.
Yes,
so this is a funny throwback. But it was last year, the workout was, I think it was the first workout of the Open of 2024. It was the chest to bar pull-ups.
No, that was the third workout.
The third, oh my God.
Yeah, I only remember because I could do the first two workouts because I was pregnant, but the third one I couldn't do the gymnastics.
Yes.
So it was the third workout. Okay, so there was chest to bar pull-ups in this one.
Chest to bar pull-ups, and I remember Danielle was my judge.
Danielle was judging you, okay.
And I was wearing a little bit of a looser shirt, which I guess it's maybe a good idea to do that if you want to, look like you're getting your reps. But since you couldn't really tell whether I was getting them or not, which was a huge struggle, by the way.
It just talks about how close you were getting, but it
was
was like
so close.
So close, but not quite.
And every time I would get up to the bar, it would look like I did, and Danielle would be like, yeah, and I'd be like, no.
But look how honorable you are. I would have been like, I totally did it.
Because some of them, they were there, and then others, I'd be like, shit,
But how many? You got a bunch, though. You got like at least 8, I think, or something like that.
I don't remember the total, to be honest. I remember being a fight, though, and at the end, I was just getting none. But every single time, Danielle was like, yeah, and I'd be like, no.
Oh, and you were like probably like millimeters away.
So close.
Millimeters
and
away.
As you get tired, you just don't get them.
And then it gets harder and harder.
And the form was becoming hilarious. Little Frogger jumps to just try.
Yo, that's the magic of the Open, though, because before that you probably had done 0 chest to bar.
0 in my
and
life.
Then you did at least 5 or 6. I remember you getting at least.
I definitely did 6. I remember 6 or 8 being
I feel like that's what's in my memory as well, which is kind of cool. And maybe we'll get chest to bar again this Open and see how we're improving since
we said
last
with Lucy
year.
And Danielle that we were going to put a chicken on the bar, and we're going to put the little anytime we hit it, that way there's no doubt.
I love it. Just wear like an ultra push-up bra so that like the titties get closer.
Some balloons.
Unfortunately, neither you or I are like thriving in the titty department.
We'll share.
Yeah.
We'll share.
Okay. Well,
That was my fun memory.
Thank you so much, Sacha. And thank you so much for being my guest on the podcast today. I know it can be a little nerve-wracking, but I feel like you didn't sound nervous or look nervous. And I feel like we just had like a girly chat.
Yeah. Reminisced about our good times.
If you guys want Brandon to never come back, just let us know in the comments and we'll just get Sacha back on every week.
My pleasure.
Yay. So if you guys want to support the podcast, you can buy us a protein shake. There's a link in the description below. If you want to make Sacha feel amazing about her awesome performance, make sure you send her a little message saying you crushed it on the podcast. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.